Hello everyone, Jamie here from the NOIC Godcast, where we offer wacky wisdom weekly from God's Word. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you have to go through the pain to get through the joy. So Christmas is quickly approaching, a lot quicker than I really thought. I was sitting down to write this podcast, and I was thinking of all the several things that I have to do before Christmas, because we actually do Christmas a little bit early this week.
A whole week early.
Yeah, so like some people I don't have to have everything for right now, but like my main big Christmas is this week. So I have some presents to buy and wrap. And I have some small Christmas projects that I want to do with the kids because, you know, whatever. And I have to figure out packing for 2 different Christmas trips because we're doing a family, we do a Christmas house every year this week. And then next week, as soon we'll come back, I have to wash all of the clothes, pack up, and we leave Sunday to go to Columbus.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun time, but it's just things that I have to figure it out. And then I was thinking that there is so much work that goes into making Christmas happen. But then I was like, it's all going to be worth it because in the end, I'll get to spend time with people I love. I will get the keepsakes made, you know, for when my kids, from when kids were little. And I will also get to make memories with my kids. The end result outweighs the work to get there. Then it hit me that this is exactly how joy works.
Yes.
When we think of joy, we think of only the end result. We don't usually associate all the work and sacrifice leading up to this with the joy. But there is a cost to joy. Since it is Christmas time, let's look at the birth of Jesus. I think that we can all agree that Jesus being born was the ultimate joy. The world was desperately searching and waiting for a savior. And finally, he was here. But this great joy took work and sacrifice. First, Mary would be told that she was going to be pregnant when she was unmarried and a virgin. So that would come with its own set of issues, either socially or even just mentally. You're like, what is going on? But that comes with its own troubles. Then she had to carry Jesus to term, which is a sacrifice of her body and her mind. As someone that's done it twice, I feel like I have and I have fairly easy pregnancies, but it still takes a toll on your emotions, on your body, everything. Regardless of how good her pregnancy could have been, you're still growing an entire human. And then when she was, 9 months pregnant, she would need to go to Bethlehem and travel in a car at 9 months pregnant is rough.
Yeah.
It can be trying at times.
I can't relate.
But let alone riding on a donkey. That just doesn't...
I think I'd almost rather walk.
I know. I'm just like, can I just walk the entire time? Then finally, she would have to give birth in an area where animals lived. So on top of birth just being a hard thing to go through, it was also dirty because of the animals. But guess what? At the end of it all, I'm sure she looked at that little baby and realized it was all worth it. All of the pain, all of the bodily changes, everything that led up to this moment, none of that mattered. The only thing that mattered was the joy that this little baby brought to her. That little baby would then go on to save the world from their sin. But to get to that end result, there was a lot of hard times, a lot of work, a lot of little sacrifices, but then the ultimate sacrifice. Joy always requires work and sacrifice. Joy is not simply the good part of the story. It is the entire thing from start to finish. It is seeing how God was using every detail, good parts, the bad parts, the times that you messed up, the times that you thought you were not going to make it through. Every detail is for his glory. We do not get true joy as a Christian without the hard times, the painful moments. If God had to feel pain of turning his back on his own son and letting him die so that we could have everlasting joy, how can we think that we can have joy without pain?
That's a great point. I want to go back to the birth of Christ and the sacrifices and everything that was made. So it's not like God says, like, on this date, this joyful thing is going to happen for you. Mm-hmm. Like, he outlines your painful journey every step, of the way.
Yep.
And if you think about, like, the birth of Christ, like, they didn't live in Bethlehem.
Mm-mm. No.
Okay. But yet, she had to be in Bethlehem.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, like, the whole, I was listening to a sermon last week, and just all the circumstances that led up to her being, in that place, in that moment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was just like God's plan is it's not like the world is just happening and tossing us, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're hoping, like, I see the good in this, God, at the end. Yeah. But I got to get there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, God is so purposeful in every detail of our lives.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? That the pain that we go through, a lot of that is a matter of trusting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think it was Wednesday. So Tuesday night, I ate something I shouldn't have ate. I don't know what it was. I went to Wendy's. I thought it was fine. But anyway, so I woke up Wednesday morning. You ever had that feeling like you have like a cinder block in your stomach? Okay. Yep. Extremely painful. And there was really nothing I could do about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So on top of that, I'm like taking like this weight loss shot, which the doctor explained to me. It slows down my digestion so I don't get hungry. And I'm thinking like, I really need my digestion to work doubly fast.
Yeah.
Because
you want to get this root. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm in like this pain like all day.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, just grin and bear it. You know what I mean? You've had stomach aches before. It just, grin and bear it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly. So I get off on LifeWise and I had to go to my other job. So I'm just going to lay down. Hopefully I'll feel better. So like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I'm not feeling any better and I don't want to call off. So I'm just going to
do the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to tough it out. And then I had this like epiphany hit me. It was like, have you talked to God about this yet? And I was like, no. I read my Bible this morning. I prayed and, I've been, praying about people all day and praying for my LifeWise students in class, but I never thought once to pray for God to take care of the pain.
Yep.
Okay. And honestly, I remember it was 5 o'clock because you work at like a sharp pain. You look at the clock. Like, you know what I mean? And by like 5:40, I was fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So I say all that to say that God is like right there for us all the time. And it's only through our stubbornness that makes our pain worse. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be pain, at least with joy, like you said. But we make the pain worse because we don't want to just totally surrender the entire situation to God.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like, God's like, well, I want to stick like a thumbtack in your finger.
Yeah.
To get in like,
you're like, well, if you're doing that, just let me get a knife and cut my finger off.
Yeah. We get a nail. It's like, oh, rusty nail in that. And we stick it like, and God's like, that's not the pain that I meant for you. But since you want to make it worse.
Yep, go ahead.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing. It's like, I think, again, it's the world that we live in where we feel entitled to things. We feel like you don't get the beautiful without the mess.
Right.
That it's just, there's no, literally. So if God's example was like bringing Jesus here, literal God in flesh, and he had to be in a dirty trough, if he had to be born around animals, why do we think why do we think that we are entitled to better? Do you know what I mean? Like, if he has to go through that, he had to be raised, he had to be, there was a lot of hardships that Jesus himself even had to go through before he even got to the cross. Why do we think that we're any better?
Because I could be wrong on this, but it seems to me that to sell Christianity, you know what I mean? Like, you can't say, listen, God's going to ask you to do some things you don't want to do. There's going to be some pain, some tribulation.
It doesn't sound fun.
You know what I mean? But in the end, it's going to be okay. People are going to be like, yeah, no,
I don't want all that right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but really, you have to tell the story in its entirety. You know what I mean? Because if you just tell people, when you get saved, everything's going to be groovy.
Yeah.
And then you're going to die and go to heaven. Okay. The minute that something bad comes up in their life, they're going to abandon the whole.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be like, oh, this isn't real. Out.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you just tell them all the bad, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to suffer through life. And then when you die, you get to go to heaven.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm suffering through this life because I want to go to heaven. Really, with that mindset, you're really saying I'm suffering through life because I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I'm trying to avoid hell.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens in my life,
at that point, it's not the relationship with Jesus; it's the benefit at the end.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So really, the truth lies in the middle, where you have to understand that it's going to be difficult.
Yep.
Okay. But understand that God is going to be there with you the whole step of the way. And really, if we could just remember that God is with us all the time, I think it would make our lives infinitely easier, because we go through stuff and then we're just like, oh, hey, God.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
after we...
The funny thing is that regardless of who you are, if you're saved or if you're lost, you're going to go through things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might as well have someone to be with. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
It says it rains on the just and the unjust.
Well, and your outcome's joy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to have a bad day and, like, you're not saved and your outcome's not going to be joy, then, like, you went through all that.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah.
But, like, too, like, while you're going through things, like, I think of, like, camp, like, is hard and painful and stressful, but, like, I get a lot of joy out of doing camp and stuff. But, like, through the things that, like, that are painful, like, even, like, through raising children and having children, and then the joy that comes from it and all the things that kind of go with what you're talking about, like, through the hard part, through the painful part, you get a peace.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time. It's not like you're going through this and you're just like, oh, this is just the worst. I can't wait till I get to the joy. Like, you can have peace through it all, even though it is painful.
Yep.
Well, really, joy, the more I think about this, joy doesn't come as, like, the reward at the end. Okay. As you develop your relationship with God, as you start your walk of sanctification, everything, God gives you joy to deal with the bad situation.
From start to finish.
Exactly. So you have joy at the very beginning.
Yep.
Our problem is, when am I going to, activate my joy button?
So it's the habit thing. It's you get into it. That's why it's really important to continue on even when it's not so much fun, because after a while, your habit will be, oh, this is really bad, but God is still good.
Yeah.
That will be your instant reaction. It won't be why is God doing this? Why I deserve better than this. It'll be, but God knows what's going on. God knows why I'm doing this, why this is happening, and He is good. Do you know what I mean? Regardless.
Yeah.
And so it just takes, it's a habit thing. You have to get into that habit of going to that mindset instead of being, woe is me.
The funny thing is about it is, like, they say how, like, joy and contentment, like, to the outside world looks crazy. Like to a lost person, like, how can you be content? Do you realize what's happening around you? Like, yes, and I'm still content.
Yep.
Okay. Well, because we're so brainwashed to some point by the world, when we have joy and contentment in our own mind, Satan is like, this makes absolutely no sense.
Yep.
Like, I'm throwing everything at you, and you're not, like,
You're not buckling. You're not
exactly.
folding.
But sometimes in your mind, you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, I should be I should be sad or mad or something, but you're just, like, sitting there content. And it's like,
I'm good.
this is weird. You know what I mean? Like, even to us, it's
peculiar.
surprising. Yes. Even you find out how peculiar you really are.
You know it's bad when you find yourself peculiar.
I didn't know I was this much of an oddball.
But yeah, no, just going into, especially, you're going into Christmas season, there's a lot of work. Joy will always have work. There will always be pain. There will always be sacrifice, but it is the best. It's the best. So this week's considerable quote is, I don't know who it's by. I'm sure it's somebody said it at some point in life. The very purpose of Christ's coming into the world was that He might offer up His life as a sacrifice. He came to die. This is the heart of Christmas. And then today's featured content is Phil Wickham, Manger Throne.
Never heard of that.
I hadn't either. It's from last year, though. Let's see here. Oh, this is last week's? So last week's trivia was which prophet prophesied where Jesus would be born? And who, you said it. Was it you?
Micah.
Micah.
Yes.
A.
A.
All right. So this week's. What was the most popular Christmas movie in Ohio 2023?
Very specific.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. So A, Polar Express. B, Home Alone. C, The Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000s version. I think is that the Jim Carrey?
I would assume so.
Or D, The Christmas Story. All right. And then happy birthday this week to Jackson Roberts, Serena Price. I didn't know her birthday was this week. I should have said hello. Happy birthday. I seen her today. Lucas Hines. He's okay. Kason Morris, Nathan Pettit, Colton Justice, and Stacy Wolf. You guys have a great birthday this week. It's kind of Lucas didn't like having a birthday so close to Christmas.
Yeah.
He was always like, it's a combined gift.
Yeah. I've always felt that way.
Yeah.
Like, did you get cheated?
My Aunt Holly was born on Christmas.
Who?
My Aunt Holly.
Oh,
She was born on Christmas.
fitting name.
Yeah, that's why I think her name was supposed to be Jamie. And they changed it to Holly because when you're born on Christmas, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, no mail. It's that day.
We can't blame it on Josh anymore because
No. But I just don't think we have any mail.
Yeah.
Right as
us,
people.
I think it's us. I think that I think we were blaming it on Josh that like he wasn't just giving it to us, but I think that you guys aren't giving it to us. But yeah, so make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your boss, tell your milkman. Do they still have those? Are milkmen still a thing?
Maybe in some parts of the country.
Well, if you have one, tell them. Tell them about it.
I bet you every town in a Hallmark movie has a
Yeah, they
milkman.
probably
Those places
do.
seem like
They sure do.
have a milkman.
All right. Well, you guys have a good week, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
There's the forbidden water up there.
Whose cup is it?
It's mine.
It's forbidden.
It's been up there a long time.
I think it's been up there since I had Tolkien.
Wow.
A couple of years.
It might be moldy.
Did you have anything in it, or was it just water?
It was just water. And milk.
I think we would notice it if it was milk.
Yes.